Hey guys, so I wanted to go over today's trade plan and recap. Going into the morning today, I was looking even in the overnight at this area right here, this 4 hour FEG as support, um, and seeing how that would play out in the overnight and into the morning. It held, and so, but I was looking for, I guess, going into the morning, the aggressive supports I had was actually, um, where do we open? Was actually right around, I put in at 56.30 to right around, I want to say 56.18, maybe, yeah, about that. Uh, we opened and just ripped. At this point, I should have been more patient. I even wrote in my trade plan that I wanted to see or was looking for either some sort of flush or something that would shake or chop everyone up. And we ultimately got that, but I was not as patient as I could have or should have been this morning. And I did one of the habits that I kind of used to do early on in my trading career. I don't do much or much at all anymore, but this was kind of uh, I would say 50-50. It was a trade that I kind of wanted to, it was at a key resistance, so it wasn't like I was just trying to, short, because I missed the long. So it wasn't quite that, but honestly, it wasn't the, part of my trade plan in terms of what I was really looking for, what I wanted to see happen. And honestly, the short did work. But again, because I was kind of worn out on the first and second try, I didn't really get a good entry on any of my short entries. They ultimately worked, but for scalp. But again, just should have been more patient on this Monday. So I basically shorted right around here, and then re-added right around here, dumped right here. But because I was so you know confused and not pleased with my entry originally, I took it off at essentially break even. I was happy not to lose anything. When we kind of on the 5 minute here, let me switch to my execution charts. When we finally on the 5 minute closed below this area, I was this one right here. I was thinking we would, on this initial dump, I was thinking we would kind of retest this area and then maybe fill this a little bit here. Not a great risk to reward trade, so honestly, not happy with it at all. And that's the one I kind of took the majority of the loss on. After that, I was patient and just kind of watching all this choppy action. After we dump here, I end up taking a quick scalp here, getting out here. But my initial, my real good risk to reward entry would have been at this 15 minute. I don't know if you'd call this a order block, but basically this 15-minute location. It tapped it to the tick and then dumped, and then came, and so that would have been my go-to trade. Uh, Again, this was kind of a very high resistance area on my levels, and so but because it was such a wide range, instead of just kind of limiting in or just hoping, I really should have been more careful with my entries, knowing that we could get this type of action. But my favorite trade of the day, and this is the one that I kind of this is what I really wanted to see today, and I just wasn't at my desk when this happened. I actually had an alert, but again, I did not. I wasn't near the desk when this happened, but this was perfect, and it proved to be perfect because right after this level confirmed, it just ripped. So here's where I would have liked to have gotten in, and this would have been my A plus plus trade. So I'm looking at this prior day high area. I'm not trying to like just limit in, but because of this slow, grindy action down, just like a slow bleed and not just like a dump, I'm thinking, it's where a lot of people probably got chopped up this morning. Everyone's thinking there's going to be a lot of action, and in the morning, it just nothing happens for basically, almost 2 hours. And then right here, after we crack this, I originally would think to normally, here, let me do on this one right here. Let's make this the 31. And then, so when we crack here, this is kind of a good place where I would have been interested in probably taking a long, but because of the time of the day, I was good not, I would have been good not taking it. The stop would have been, let's say 55. Stop would have been at 45 would have been kind of tight, would have been taken out. But if I wanted to, make to give it a wider room, it would have been right here. But here's the best entry right here. So let's say don't get in here. This comes back, retest here. We can't go any lower. And then here's where I have this set, and this is where my alert was at this order block right here, right over here. And then on the 5-minute, cracks it right here. My alert was actually a little too high, so it actually broke above it at the time. But if I was at the desk, I would have just been watching, and my alert might have been a little bit tighter. But once we crack this, come back, retest here. Entry would have been either right here at 59.75 or just anywhere in this zone. And then risk would have been like hang on one second. And so the stop would have been, let's say, below it. I guess it could have been below here, although that's a pretty wide stop, or it could have been below here, which would have been like 10 points to get at least to this high day. It's almost like a 1.5 risk, just a little bit above it, and then you leave a runner on, and then just try to target this next zone. Is probably where I would have probably taken off majority of the position, or just trailed it really aggressively at this point. So this was without a doubt the best trade of the day for me. I did not take it again, but this is something that I would note. And this is like a perfect example of like after a big run up on Friday, I think it was like 100 or something points or whatever it was. This is like perfect where, especially on FOMC week, a lot of and options expiration. This is kind of what you want everything to get shaken out, and then you pick your spot. And this is where I would have picked mine. But again, I did not follow my plan as good as I wanted to today, and so that was the result. Again, a couple of paper cuts, and then I stopped after 3 losses, and then moved on with my 2 losses, 1 win, and moved on with my day. And so that's my recap for today.